What things you should never do while working on the website or app? While some of the UX design mistakes are inevitable, I will help you to minimize the risk of making the most common errors. Hello, it's your mate Alexey, and today we'll discuss 5 most common UX design mistakes. Mistake number 1. Overwhelming your users with too much information. If you are working on something cool, it might be tempting to overwhelm your users with too much product information right off the bat. This kind of data overload can quickly confuse your users if they don't have time to wrap their heads around the info you are giving them. The UX writers or designers may sometimes overload the websites with the information just for the sake of impressing Google. This doesn't mean that you should forget about SEO totally, but ensure that you are making a good balance of everything. The first page or screen that your users see shouldn't be too overwhelming. If it's busy or contains a lot of different elements, your users might don't know where to start and might drop off before learning anything. Compare these two websites, for example. Which one of them is easier to read? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. To sidestep this design mistake, be mindful about how much content you are sharing at once, and usually start with the essential need-to-knows. Give the information in portions. The great UX is when the users can start using the product intuitively, without too much learning at the beginning. Mistake number 2. The wrong balance between aesthetics and functionality. To offer excellent UX, your product must work well and look great. Not one or the other. If you move too far in either direction, you risk your customers getting frustrated with poor functionality, or giving your brand a bad reputation due to low-quality visual experience. Usually functionality should be slightly prioritized over aesthetics. A great-looking product is important, but if it doesn't work well, the user experience will suffer. Mistake number 3. Inventing too many design patterns. Great designers utilize well-known user expectations for positioning different UI elements or functionality. It is based on common web and mobile app patterns. While it may be a temptation to deliver new and innovative user experiences, the basic rule of thumb is to default to the commonly used patterns whenever possible. Users come to your product with the expectations from other products. Any deviation from that needs to be relearned and understood once again. Learning takes time, and it increases chances of the user abandoning your product at an early stage. Design patterns exist for a reason. They prevent the scenario that users have to relearn how to use the product from the very beginning every time. The onboarding bar becomes much higher with the unfamiliar patterns, and the engagement is usually very low. Let's take Craigslist as an example. It was made so long ago, but its super simple design hardly changed since then. Why reinvent the wheel and change what's been working for decades? And now let's take a look at this website. Yeah, it's flashy, it's modern, but the user experience? I don't know. Mistake number 4. Non-informative error states. When you are designing a user interface, don't forget that any user interface serves the purpose of smooth interaction between the user and the product. UIs are no place for doubts, questions without answers, or any kind of uncertainty. Designers should provide users the clear feedback about states, especially if it's an error state. That's why the error notification should follow these simple rules. They should be recognizable and noticeable, they should clearly explain what has happened and how the user can fix this, and they should be contextual. It means that it's better to place the error next to the element it relates to. Designers should also take care of unexpected errors. For example, the page wasn't found or server errors. Any error message is an obstacle to the user flow. That's why we need to help the user to handle it, smooth out the bad experience, and provide possible solutions, especially if it's not the user's mistake. For example, a good solution might be to design illustrations or animations for 404 or 500 error pages, and we need to guide the user to the existing pages as well. Mistake number 5. Ignoring user needs and feedback. Finally, your user needs to be at the center of everything you do as a UX designer. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you know better than the user, or even worse, thinking that you are the user. It's vital to take the user's feedback seriously, to close the gap in understanding their needs. Keep your product user-centered by prioritizing customers at every stage of your design process. Ask yourself how you can optimize your product so it presents a seamless solution to user pain points. Throughout your product's lifecycle, be proactive about collecting users' feedback with UX surveys and interviews. That's how you can create a consistent cycle of listening to your users and optimizing your product. Were you making any of these 5 mistakes that we discussed? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.